Okay.
Build a website you love with Wix.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. We're in. We're in. Put it right there. Just put it right there. It all should be fine. And we have everything that you and I need for this to be Ramos Ramos Vision production. That's super funny. Bro, we're doing the best we can with the with everything I have right now. Thanks, my fam. Always good to have you here. Welcome. Audio is good. I can hear me. All right. Okay, everybody. So, welcome back to another White House press briefing with Caroline Levitt. I think today is going to be a very exciting briefing because, well, we have the shutdown vote. There's conversations about the $2,000 tariff check that I think people are so ready to hear from. The ballroom, and well, the conversations going on as far as airports, air traffic controllers. There's so much going on as far as the U.S. and it's gonna be exciting. Veterans Day too yesterday, so we'll go ahead and wait and see what Caroline has for us. In the meantime, this is what Mike Speaker Johnson said.
Morning. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to come out and
That's honestly the worst audio ever in the history of audios. What is this? Man, come on. Excuse me? You are absolutely joking, please. Let me just. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, today it's the day when nothing is gonna work perfect. Are you really joking? You're not joking. Wow. Okay. It's one of those days, everybody. At least we got what I needed, which is YouTube and TradingView. My man. Renshaw Oscar, but he watches when he doesn't. What's up, Cheaper in the house? Welcome, welcome aboard. Tech problems are the worst. I know, bro. I mean, absolutely. Especially when you're not home. Especially when you're not home. Okay, so we're seeing CNN and Fox, Peter Ducey, and what's her name? The source with Caitlin Collins. There you go. We see in Peter Ducey and Caitlin Collins right now, Fox and CNN. Should be fun. So it's 1 p.m. already, East. Antonio in the house, welcome. Thank you guys. Appreciate everything that when you always come and say hi to the community. And obviously, we have seen millions of dollars liquidated today. Why? Well, because remember, we are in a battle with sharks. We're in a battle with the whales. We're in a battle with the suits. And they don't want you to win. And they take every chance to eat your crypto. Always. TJ in the house, Brandon White, Chipper, Godstrud. Very happy to see you guys. Welcome. Pascal in the house, welcome. That's just so crazy how I'm gonna have to. I can't use X. They are. That's so dumb, bro. So dumb. Well, might as well go back to the old beginnings. Nope, can't. Let's do shutdown. What do we have here? Yep, the house comes back.
So, after 43 days, the government could finally reopen tonight. The House is expected to vote on the Senate passed funding bill later today. And while GOP leaders are confident they have the votes, Democrats are expected to reject the measure.
Our strong expectation is that Democrats will be strongly opposed. Many have issued statements. The New Dem coalition came out today opposed to this Republican spending bill because it fails to address the healthcare crisis that Republicans have created.
CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand starts us off from the White House this morning. Good morning, Natalie. So we're about to see the House back in session for the first time in nearly 2 months. So what is the play-by-play? What can we expect?
Yeah, well, a key hurdle was passed overnight because this package that had been approved by the Senate advanced through the House Rules Committee, which again is a key start, another big sign of optimism here. That vote along party lines, 8-4. Republicans rejected amendments that had been offered by Democrats, including one on extending those enhanced Affordable Care Act health subsidies, which Democrats have been fighting for, the whole reason why this shutdown began. So while we are expected to see a lot of Democratic opposition on the House floor later today ahead of a final vote, Republicans seem to be behind this, including House Freedom Caucus members, the conservative wing of the party that sometimes raises objections to budget measures. It seems Republicans are in line. That is in large part because this deal is supported and backed by President Trump, who talked about it, kind of took an early victory lap during his Veterans Day remarks yesterday. Take a listen.
Congratulations to you and to John and to everybody on a very big victory. We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed.
So the president signaling there that he expects the government to reopen very soon, as early as later tonight. But again, House Democrats on the floor ahead of this final vote are expected to raise issues, or raise concerns rather, about rising premiums, especially for those on the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, everybody, it's gonna get spicy. That I can tell you. Today, right now, it's 1 p.m. I mentioned yesterday that they're gonna start voting at 4 p.m. East, and it seems that the final vote could be at 7 p.m. East. So right now, the House is full throttle, full throttle. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a picture there. House of Representatives live feed. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. Let's see if we can get something here. Oh, here. Perfect. The house. Okay, yeah, there you go. There you go. We're in the right place. We're in the right place. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're in the right place. Perfect.
Signed, Mike Johnson.
Let's take a look at that in just 1 second. Let me close this, guys. By the way, don't forget to drop a like, guys. Consider subscribing to the channel. Turn on those notification bells. Welcome. We're about to hear from Caroline, the president, of course, the Trump administration. See what they're cooking, the latest of what's going on in for Shutdown and more. It's exciting. I want to welcome all my admins, Ghost, TJ, Brandon in the house, JB, and more. There you are, JB. That's nice. I see you there. So let's take a look at what happened earlier today in the House. This is the U.S. House Clerk.
The Speaker's Rooms, Washington, D.C., November 12th, 2025. I hereby appoint the Honorable Mike Boss to act as Speaker pro tempore on this day. Signed, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
The prayer will be offered by the Chaplain Kibben.
Okay.
These proceedings is approved. The chair will lead the House in pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The chair lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, sir, pursuant to the permission granted in Clause 2H of Rule 2 of the Rules of the U.S. House of Representatives, the clerk received the following message from the Secretary of the Senate on November 10th, 2025 at 10:45 p.m. that the Senate passed Senate 778, Senate 2296, Senate 2392, that the Senate passed with an amendment, H.R. 5371, signed sincerely, Kevin F. McCumber, Clerk.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess subject to the call of the chair.
Okay, recess until the chair wants. And the Speaker, subject to the call of the chair. So they already have 1 hour of recess, in recess, so okay. They need a lot of recess after spending about 7 or more weeks away. Sure, let's go with that. Got it. Okay, so this is the place where we're gonna be watching later today. I do wanna go live once I go back home. Much better. Yes, much better. This is exactly where I like to have it. November 12th. And this is 1080p or 720. I can do 1080p, but I think I'm gonna do auto. That's gonna be fine. Looks perfect. Yes, looks great. Alrighty, very good, guys. Very good. We're here. Anybody buying the dip by any chance? Anybody buying some of the nice blood on the streets, which honestly is not even blood on the streets, but we're getting there. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Always buying. What's up, Crypto Griff? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. DCA 100%. You know me, 100%. That's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do. Let's do Shutdown. Dems. Pretty crazy, you know. Pretty crazy. Everything that we have gone and seen through. Shutdown.
So, Mr. Speaker, I know you have this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that was 6 days ago. It's a little challenging to find the good videos when I'm not where I want to be. course, the ads come at every and any time. Thank you.
White House, Emily.
Hey, Scott. So, yeah, hearing from a couple different folks here. Number one, I am hearing
4 days ago, I thought it was updated. Huh, I see.
Capitol Hill today, and a few hours from now, they're expected to vote on the Senate amended bill to reopen the government. Welcome back. House members return to Capitol Hill today, and a few hours from now, they're expected to vote on the Senate amended bill to reopen the government and end this shutdown. Let's get to Emily Wilkins with the latest. Hey, Emily.
Hey, Carl. Well, yeah, you know, the House, they're expected to be back to start the process of voting at 4 o'clock today. Final vote's probably not going to come until a little bit later, around 7 o'clock. And these are the final.
You see, guys, you see? So right now it's early. It's early in the day. Things can change. Things can happen. I know some are being a little surprised that we dropped, but honestly, it's all okay. It's all fine. Don't even panic. Don't even sweat it. Should be very nice as we're heading into the 7-8 o'clock hour.
Votes needed to reopen the government. Now, of course, exact timing depends on everyone getting back to D.C. This is the first time that the House is going to vote in 54 days, rather. Now, margins are slim. Republicans can only lose 2 votes if all Democrats vote against, but it
only 2 votes, meaning that Republicans have to lock in. If we don't pass this vote, I don't even want to tell you the nice great red candle we're going to witness today. Tonight, rather. If we don't pass it tonight, guys, brace yourselves. Get some Vaseline, honestly. Get some Vaseline, because we are going to be absolutely open.
At this point, it seems like we're good. They're good for passage. The bill is expected to pass, and it's likely that, like last time, there could actually be a few Democrats that join Republicans in passing that. We did get a preview of the House debate last night when the 2 top appropriators in the House, Tom Cole and Rosa DeLauro, met with the committee to tee up the vote.
Minority leaders Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer led their caucus to shut down the government. And for 42 days, the American people have borne the brunt of that decision and have been mere pawns at the partisan hands of the Democrats.
Premium subsidies, the tax credits. This bill is an empty promise.
What is that?
As is the promise for a vote in the Senate.
Is that a real person?
And as the Speaker said, no guarantee of a vote on premium subsidies in the House.
Once the bill is passed and signed, federal workers are expected to get their paychecks as soon as.
Thank you so much for the kind donations, guys. I'm seeing it right now. Let me go ahead and go to chat filter. Let's do fan funding. Machia, thank you. And Eric, you have 7,000 to be exact. Should I buy XRP now or wait a day or so if it goes down more? What do you recommend? I mean, whether you buy XRP at 220, at 240, at 230, in all honesty, bro, I mean, when are you planning to sell? I mean, or when are you planning to leave? If you're planning to leave at 3, then sure, it does matter. If you're not planning to leave at 3, then I think you're fine, whatever, you know. I mean, don't even sweat it. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Don't even sweat it. That's why I don't really pay attention much to it. When I'm buying for long, I'm just worried about accumulating a designated amount of coins. That's what I'm worried about. Because it's all just gonna go to my cost basis, and obviously right now we're buying a pretty nice level, everything considering. So yeah, should be good.
As possible, although of course it could take a few days to process those, depending on which areas of the government that they work in. Also happening today, Analyses Grijalva, she was the congresswoman who was elected to serve in that special election in September, will finally be sworn in. Guys?
Emily, if we game out a pass of this bill, it seems like the big silos are: when do we start getting data? When does travel begin to clear? Ed Bastian's here at the big board this morning. And then when do we swear in Rep-elect Grijalva?
So I'll take those in reverse order. Grijalva is actually expected to be sworn in at 4 p.m. That time has been set. So she will actually be here to take the vote today. Part of the reason that the margins are going to be as narrow as they are, but again, expecting passage. For airports, that could take a little bit longer. Obviously, you are going to have folks receiving pay. They are being encouraged to come back to work. But just between flights, cancellations, reschedulings, it could take a few more days to sort that one out. And as far as data, look, there's been some data that's been ready to go now for the last 40-some days in terms of job reports from September. But as far as other things, a lot of the folks who were collecting the data in the BLS or CPI and jobs numbers, they weren't there. They were furloughed. They weren't collecting things. And so we're going to kind of see exactly when this data does come out. Is it based on retroactive data? I think there are some questions about how accurate it is based on what the format and the data that they have. And some of that could take a little bit longer to get started. But we are expecting to get some more clarity.
All right. We got audio. We got audio. Perfect. Audio in the room. They're still in recess. Crazy. Take a look at the prices on World Leader Financial, -5%. I was here on Monday and I was telling you, remember that Melania was, guys, Melania, what happened? Just take a look at this. This is Melania on Monday and then came back all the way down. So pretty nice pump and dump for the Melania coin. I wouldn't suggest getting on this because there's no utility at all, and I think it's not a good crypto to invest. BTC went down all the way to 101. Look at this. Just today. Wow. Just today. Bitcoin with a nice and juicy drop. 105 all the way to 101. Wow. That hurts. That hurts, actually. Planet's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome. Planet's here. Everything ready and locked in for Caroline. She's coming in now. She's coming in now. So listen up. There's going to be tons of questions. And please go ahead and use the chat down below so you can join us. Beautiful. Mikey. Thank you, Mike, for the 4 months. Great to have you in the community. Thank you so much. Oh boy. We got a nice ad. All right, we can take a look at the price of XRP now, and let's give it a look. She should be coming anytime now. It's time. Everybody's ready. 2-3 minutes or so. Should be ready to answer and to see, get a bunch, because everybody's expecting this shutdown to get done today. There you go. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, almost there. Who do we have in the chat? Brave, Jordan, nice. Isaac using those emojis, I love that. That's great. And as a reminder, everybody, if you want to keep trading, if you want to keep buying, if you want to keep getting those awesome XRPs, we got a 2,000 XRP giveaway competition, BTCC. First link down below. To those trading already, welcome. Before $3 and $4 XRP, get in now. So exciting. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up, and don't you know, pump it up. There she is. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here today. We are going to get to my remarks and Q&A as always, but I do have the FBI director with me here, Kash Patel. You all know him well.
Kash.
And he's here to provide an update for you all with respect to China. As you know, President Trump had a very successful meeting on his trip to Asia with President Xi, where they discussed the need for China to crack down on fentanyl production and distribution, which ultimately makes its way here to the United States of America. And the FBI director recently traveled to China following President Trump's meeting to meet with his counterpart in Beijing. And he has a really positive announcement for the American people to share. So the president wanted me to bring the FBI director out to share that with all of you today. So Kash, please, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Caroline. As Caroline mentioned, we have some tremendous news thanks to President Donald J. Trump once again for the American people. As soon as the President of the United States took office, he issued a mandate to rid America of the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. Thanks to his leadership and direct engagements with China, we set up a framework to execute that mission 8 months ago. Attorney General Bondi immediately thereafter took steps to engage her counterpart in China at the Ministry of Public Security. Pursuant to their direct discussions, as the FBI director designated to run counterpoint on this, along with the Secretary of State Rubio and Ambassador Perdue and the team here at the White House, we set forward a path to implement the policy needed to crush the plague of fentanyl. Deputy Attorney General Blanche and our teams have been hard at work ever since, ultimately culminating in my trip to Beijing last week. This was only possible due to President Trump's historic engagement with President Xi just a few short weeks ago that set the stage for today's announcement. At that meeting, the leaders reached an agreement. But just to put this in frame for the American people, a reminder here that nearly 100,000 people died of fentanyl overdoses just last year alone. Here, this year, under this president, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl so far. That is a 31% increase from the same time period last year. To put it in perspective, that's enough fentanyl to kill 127 million Americans. Fentanyl precursors are what makes up fentanyl. While we, the interagency, the Department of Justice, have been fighting hard to seize and stop drug traffickers, we must attack fentanyl precursors, the ingredients necessary to make this lethal drug. That was the sole purpose of my trip to China, to eliminate these precursors. And if successful, we would suffocate the drug trafficking organization's ability to manufacture fentanyl in places like Mexico. This was the first time an FBI director has been to China in over a decade and received the audience with his counterpart to address this matter directly. And again, thanks to President Trump's direct engagement with President Xi, the government of China committed fully to my engagement there on the ground in Beijing at a level never seen before. While at Ministry of Public Security headquarters, I met with my counterpart at MPS, where the Chinese government agreed on a plan to stop fentanyl precursors. What does that mean? The People's Republic of China has fully designated and listed all 13 precursors utilized to make fentanyl. Furthermore, they have agreed to control 7 chemical subsidiaries that are also utilized to produce this lethal drug. Effective immediately, essentially, President Trump has shut off the pipeline that creates fentanyl that kills tens of thousands of Americans. These substances are now banned, and they will no longer be utilized by the Mexican drug trafficking organizations or any other DTOs around the world to make this drug. This historic achievement has saved tens of thousands of lives. This historic achievement would not have been possible without the tremendous team of President Trump, the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Ambassador Perdue in China, whose ground-level engagements were imperative to achieving this result. This is yet another example of how President Trump defends the American people, provides security for the American people, and puts the American people first. This is a historic first-in-its-kind achievement by any president to stop the scourge of fentanyl, and it should be championed by every single American. This achievement will save lives. We are thankful for President Trump's steadfast leadership, and this FBI will fearlessly follow in his footsteps to ensure that this mission of safeguarding the American public is achieved every single day. Thank you. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you again, Director Patel. Before we get going, I do have one quick scheduling announcement. Tomorrow, President Trump will be joined by the First Lady in the East Room for an executive order signing aimed at expanding opportunities for education, career development, housing, and other resources for young people transitioning from foster care to adulthood. This is part of the First Lady's Fostering the Future efforts, which are a Be Best initiative. In other news, the Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43 days, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But tonight, thanks to Republicans, the White House is very hopeful that this shutdown is going to come to an end. The damage caused by the Democrats with this reckless government shutdown cannot be forgotten. It is entirely the fault of the Democrat Party. Just look at the vote count. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees have missed their paychecks. Tens of billions in wages and benefits were withheld, impacting vulnerable families. Millions of low-income Americans missed their SNAP benefits. Nearly 20,000 flights at airports across the country were delayed due to staffing shortages, causing Americans to miss family events, vacations, and work obligations. According to Airlines for America, an estimated 5.2 million travelers have had their flights disrupted over the course of the Democrat shutdown. And our economy has lost billions and billions of dollars in economic activity over the course of this shutdown, hurting consumer sentiment and crushing the travel and hospitality industries. According to a CBO estimate, the Democrat shutdown could end up decreasing fourth quarter economic growth by 2 whole percentage points. The Democrat shutdown made it extraordinarily difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers at the Federal Reserve to receive critical government data. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and jobs reports likely never being released. And all of that economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers at the Fed flying blind at a critical period. It's hard to recap all of this without asking a simple question: why? Why have the Democrats put the American people through this pain for 43 days in a row? And it feels like Groundhog Day being up here again talking about this Democrat shutdown? And the answer to that question is pure partisan politics. They started this shutdown with a ridiculous demand to force taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits to illegal aliens who broke into our country. Even after it was clear President Trump and Republicans would never force American taxpayers to pay for free health care for illegals. In fact, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill fixed that problem. The Democrats kept dragging this reckless government shutdown on for weeks longer to boost their turnout in an election, perhaps one might guess. That's because the Democrats are totally captured by their far left-wing base, who only care about attacking President Trump, even if it means hurting innocent Americans in our country. The Democrats' weakness and their unwillingness to buck the fringe members of their party dragged this harmful shutdown on for 7 weeks and inflicted massive pain onto the American public. But let's be clear, the clean CR being voted on today in the House of Representatives that will lead to the reopening of the federal government is what President Trump and Republicans have supported from day one. Our troops, air traffic controllers, and federal employees will be back to receiving their regular paychecks. Families in need will get back to receiving their food purchasing assistance, and the people's government will soon be back open for business. President Trump looks forward to finally ending this devastating Democrat shutdown with his signature, and we hope that signing will take place later tonight. On another matter, I want to address the affordability issue that's received a great deal of media attention this past week, which is ironic because it didn't receive that much attention when Joe Biden was here and inflation was at a record high.
It's time to ask more of our browser. Hey,
Crazy.
Slide election in part to address the affordability issues created by Joe Biden and the Democrats. And that's exactly what President Trump has done since day one of his administration. Since the first day in office and every day since, the Trump administration has taken aggressive action to fix the Biden-created cost of living issues. The notion that the same Democrats who just shut down the federal government to sabotage our economy, rob people of their paychecks, and also helped Joe Biden ratchet up inflation to 9% are now suddenly affordability champions. That notion is completely absurd. And it's something only the liberal media would have the gall to push. But the reality is that President Trump and his administration have done so much to lower prices and increase the economic prosperity of the American people. And this president and his team of amazing economic advisors are going to keep working on this issue every single day. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, which will guarantee that next year Americans are going to put more money back into their pockets. The president has completely unleashed American energy dominance to help bring gasoline prices to the lowest in 5 years, and we expect them to continue to decrease. And it has also lowered energy costs overall. There is more work to do. But again, the president's deregulatory and pro-American energy agenda is absolutely going to continue to drive down prices. This formula worked in the president's first term, and we expect that it's going to work again. And this is key because we know energy costs are the #1 driver of inflation. Again, just look at what Joe Biden did to our energy industry over the past 4 years of his administration, and look at what happened to inflation as a result. Everything became more expensive. To lower prescription drug prices and healthcare costs, the president has been working around the clock on this issue. He is obsessed with negotiating these good deals on behalf of the American people to bring down pharmaceutical costs and drug costs for Americans. And he has done so on a number of fronts. You have seen him discuss that in the Oval Office several times. To fuel small businesses, lower their costs, and incentivize hiring, the Trump administration has already cut 30 unnecessary regulations for every new one on the books, which we know will save employers and small businesses across the country thousands of dollars in regulatory burdens. All of these pro-Trump policies are working, and they will continue to work. Wages are rising at the fastest pace of the start of a presidential administration in 60 years. The cost of the typical new mortgage is down by nearly $3,000 per year. There's much work to do, and this administration will continue to do it. But President Trump has already made great progress in cleaning up the economic disaster that was created by Joe Biden. With that, I will take your questions today. And in our new media seat, we have Bev Turner, who works for a new outlet, a UK outlet, but based here in Washington, D.C., GB News. Bev, thank you for being here today. Why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. So the clock is ticking on the Friday deadline by which the BBC must retract and apologise for their malicious edit of the president in the documentary shown last year. The recently resigned Director General of the BBC yesterday described the organisation as the very best of society and blamed the enemies of the BBC for this outcome. Also yesterday, a senior government minister launched a fierce defence of the channel in the House of Commons, saying that the broadcaster remains a light on the hill for people all over the world. So, does the President feel that the network is taking the situation seriously? Does he believe that they've shown sufficient regret? Does this strain the relationship between the President and the Prime Minister? And given that the organisation is publicly funded, is the President prepared to bankrupt the BBC in his pursuit of truth and justice?
Well, thank you, Bev. There's a lot of questions in one there. I will say I know the President has a very good relationship with Prime Minister Starmer. You have been there. You've seen them in their interactions. You've questioned both leaders in your time joining us when we've gone to the United Kingdom a few different times now. However, he has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with. And the BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The President has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think that the President was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news, and he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago, and this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time. We see it now in the United Kingdom. As you know, the President's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue, and whether they apologize or not is up to them. Thanks for being here, Bev. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats.
Oh boy,
Separate
Epstein.
from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the President ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us. Mary.
Thank you, Galen. Two questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump. as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the Democrat and the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump.
But given your
Reagan.
interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns? That is that's a defining factor of transparency. Having discussions with members of Congress about various issues, and I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the Situation Room in the press briefing room. Reagan.
I have a question about the government shutdown.
Thank you. I'm glad someone does.
First, on the government shutdown, the shutdown deal reverses the administration's reps, and it also prohibits more from happening until the end of January. I'm wondering if the president had input on this element of the deal, and if he's at all disappointed that's going to reverse the downsizing of the federal government that they did during the shutdown.
I mean, look, I think it's about 6,000 workers total. When you look at that in comparison to the reduction in the federal workforce that this administration has done since January to get rid of the waste, the fraud, the abuse, and to reduce the size of our federal bureaucracy, we've done a lot of great work on that front, and we will continue to. But obviously, the president's main priority was to reopen the federal government and get people back to work, and that's what this deal accomplishes.
Caroline, there's been reports in Israeli media that the U.S. is considering building a temporary military base on the Gaza border. Can you confirm these reports?
So I had a conversation directly with the reporter who wrote this article, and this article was based on a single piece of paper, an inquiry that somebody in the Department of Navy made about an idea that may happen in the future. And this reporter deemed that as an official plan and ran with a story that the United States is looking into it. I checked with the highest levels of the United States federal government. This is not something the United States is interested in being engaged in. It's not something we are currently involved in right now that we will be funding. And the president has been very clear he doesn't want to see boots on the ground with respect to what's happening in the Middle East. We've made great peace. We've made great progress with the peace plan in Gaza, and we want to continue to see that move forward. But I put a comment in that story for a reason. And sometimes we see reporters take a piece of paper like this and just deem it as official policy. And sometimes that misleads people a little bit. Sure.
There's been a question about UK intelligence sharing regarding the drug interdictions involving Venezuelan boats. How will that affect the U.S. military operation? There's been a lot of discussion about the high caliber of the intelligence that has been provided before any of these military actions have taken place.
I've seen that report. Oh, hello. I've seen that report. I'm familiar with the reporting, but we don't comment on intelligence matters, classified intelligence matters, as you know. As for the Trump administration's position on our narco-terrorist campaign in the Caribbean, it is going to continue, and the president has made it very clear he's not going to allow terrorists to bring illegal drugs that kill American citizens into our great country. Sure, John. I'll go to John and then Zolan. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge dividend. That didn't materialize. Should U.S. citizens expect the $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes. And we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen. And so his team of economic advisors are looking into it. And when we have an update, we'll provide one. Solon.
You said at the top that one of the costs of the government shutdown was that people missed their SNAP benefits. Can you explain then why the administration went to court to fight the funding of food stamps and SNAP benefits?
So recipients missed their SNAP benefits because the Democrats shut the government down. And they forced the administration to tap into a contingency fund that did not even fund the full entirety of this program. And so then you had an unhinged judge who was trying to dictate from the bench what the executive branch has to pay for and where that money has to come from. That is judicial overreach at its finest, and so that's why the administration pushed back on that. We can't have the judicial branch telling the executive branch that we need to rob the Children Nutrition Fund, which is what this judge was trying to do, to pay for SNAP benefits. That's completely inappropriate and it's unconstitutional, and we've been proven right with that legal argument. But now the good news is, again, thanks to Republicans and in several hours, President Trump, the government is going to be reopened, and SNAP recipients are going to receive their full benefits, which is what President Trump has always wanted to do. Stephen.
Why also did you need the judicial process for that? I mean, during this shutdown, didn't the administration have a responsibility to tap into any of those reserves to ensure that essentially
we did. We did tap into it. We did tap into the contingency fund. And then the judge told us, no, you have to get more money from a children's nutrition fund. And we felt that was judicial overreach. You shouldn't tell the president which fund he has to rob because the Democrats are holding the country hostage by shutting down the federal government. Stephen, go ahead.
Well, if the president is considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
Again, he's answered this repeatedly. It's not something he's talking about or even thinking about at this moment in time. I can assure you of that. Stephen.
Caroline, I've got two questions about New York for you.
Sure.
First,
you always do.
Mayor-elect.
On brand for the New York Post.
Mayor-elect Mamdani, he said that he plans to reach out to President Trump and that, quote, this is a relationship that will be critical. Does the White House have a response to this planned outreach?
It's the first time I'm hearing of it. I'll let the president respond himself to that comment by Mr. Mamdani.
My second question, Jack Schlossberg, the grandson of President Kennedy, announced today that he's running for Congress. He, in the recent past, has referred to his uncle, the HHS secretary, as, quote, a rabid dog, and he has said that the Trump administration is, quote, the most corrupt in American history. Does the White House have a comment on this sort of comment from a rising star in the Democratic Party?
I don't even think such ridiculous comments are worth responding to. Obviously, those things are not true. And Secretary Kennedy is doing a phenomenal job bringing transparency and the gold standard of science back to our healthcare system. Eamon.
Thank you, Caroline. The president's hosting a number of Wall Street CEOs for dinner tonight here at the White House. Can you give us the names of the CEOs who are going to be here and give us a sense of what the president's message to Wall Street is going to be tonight?
I don't have a full list for you in front of me, Eamon. I know you've reported on some names, and we've helped you navigate whether those names were truthful or false. But I know the president actually plans to bring some of you into the dinner tonight, so you'll see for yourself in several hours if that's okay with you.
And there's been some reporting that the White House is frustrated with Bill Pulte and the rollout of this proposal for a 50-year mortgage. Can you tell us if the White House is frustrated with that rollout and if the White House still supports the idea of a 50-year mortgage for Americans?
This is a proposal that the president himself has commented on. I would defer you to the president's statements, and it's something that the administration is discussing and seriously looking into. Sure.
Thanks, Kelly.
Danny, and then go ahead.
Thank you. Some Democratic members of Congress have invited Britain's former Prince Andrew to testify on the Epstein scandal. I was just wondering if President Trump thinks that former Prince Andrew should indeed come and testify to Congress on that.
I haven't spoken to him about that specific matter, but I can ask him and get back to you.
On the government shutdown, the president and House Republicans have made clear they were not going to negotiate health care strategy or policy while the government was shut down. Now, assuming that it reopens tonight, is the president intending to invite any Democrats over to have negotiations over these subsidies or any other plan to bring down the cost of health insurance?
I will just add that, as you pointed out, the Democrats were holding our country hostage to try to negotiate on a healthcare system that they created. Obamacare, as it's famously called, is a system the Democrats created. It is a broken system. It has driven up healthcare costs dramatically in this country. And now they shut the government down to try to fix that system they broke. It doesn't make any sense to us, which is why the president said that's a completely untenable position. However, once the government reopens, the president, as he's always maintained, is absolutely open to having conversations about healthcare. And I think you'll see the president putting forth some really good policy proposals the Democrats should take very seriously to fix, again, the system that they broke. You can't trust the same people who broke the system to fix it, and so the American people will continue to hear from the president on this issue.
Follow up on the question about the $2,000 payments of tariff revenue. The president had also talked about using tariffs to bring down the national debt. Would this be in lieu of that? Like this is now the new way to maybe to use that tariff revenue?
No, the president put out a statement on this clarifying he wants to do both things with the tariff revenue that he's bringing into this country. Trillions of dollars are expected to continue to pour in, and it's part of the reason that the Supreme Court case is so vital for our country's future, to restore our manufacturing industry in this country, to protect our national security, to continue to allow the president to use tariffs as leverage to negotiate economic deals that, again, are good for our national security. And that revenue can then be used for various reasons, to pay down our debt and also perhaps to give these rebate checks back to Americans, which, again, the White House is exploring the legal options of how we can get that done. Catherine, go ahead.
Caroline, Viktor Orban said this week that President Trump has promised Hungary some kind of financial shield. Do you have any details on how that will be structured or what that would look like?
I don't, but I'm happy to check with the National Security Council and get back to you.
One more. You recently said you'd check with President Trump about why he needs to get an MRI on his recent trip to Walter Reed. Do you have any more detail on that?
I do, and I'm glad you asked. As stated in the memo provided on October 10th, President Trump received advanced imaging at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of his routine physical examination. The full results were reviewed by attending radiologists and consultants, and all agreed that President Trump remains in exceptional physical health, which I know all of you will see with your own eyes later this evening when he opens up his dinner to the press, and perhaps you will see him when he signs the bill to reopen the federal government. So stay tuned on plans for that. Thank you, everyone.
Oh boy. That was somewhat fast. What's up, everybody? That was somewhat fast. Okay. Guys, I gotta tell you an update when it comes to Twitter. I'm one of those because I always like to protect my accounts. But it seems that because I have a passkey, I have one of those USBs, right, as a passkey. I I'm no longer able. I'm not able to log into my X account until I get it done. So if you have an X account and you have a passkey with the USB, it seems that we have to re-enroll. So FY, I was getting those messages like for like 2-3 weeks, re-enroll, 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 but I was just doing later, later, later. I never did it. It seems that right now I have to do it to get on X. So I cannot get on X right now. I try to do it here, but I need to get my little passkey. So FY, just for those who have an X account and you have a passkey, extra layer of security, which is, I think, it's a great idea. Just be mindful of that. Okay, so yes, sir. Shutdown is over. It is not over yet. It is not over yet. I was a little surprised, that there were many questions regarding the shutdown, and this was pretty fast, actually. Typically, she takes more questions, but I get it. I mean, it is what it is. Caroline, of course, is the one getting all the questions, and I wonder, right? As you know, Epstein files. I'm not gonna get too much into that, but I mean. That might be the next big issue Trump has to face this next year. We'll see, right? I'm sure that the Democrats are gonna be on top of him every chance they get. And after 43 days of shutdown, there's a chance today can be the day that we pass, just flip the page and continue moving forward, because we won our Clarity Act, we won our ETFs, we won regulation, we won them to work. These guys, I mean, come on, man, you have to work. So look, the House of Reps, please tell me they're not longer on a break, because if they are, you are kidding me. What are they doing? Anyway, guys, these guys are still on a break, in recess. So this is where you're gonna see today everything going down. It's about to be 2 p.m. East, and according to what we read yesterday, it's gonna start at around 4 p.m. East, 3 p.m. Central. So get ready for that. Now, I'm sure that everybody's asking, well, what's going on with the markets, Oscar? No worries. What is what in the world is going on, CoinGecko? Come on, man. What in the man? I'm telling you, my employer has some of the weirdest and toughest security firewall because when I'm trying to open some links, it just doesn't allow me, right? I'm not in my house for those asking. Okay, we'll take a look at the comments. We got some time, of course. Plus, I'm hungry. I gotta eat. Coffee break, then lunch. Yes. What's up, Guts? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome. We have Crypto Griff in the house. In an honest world, what we learn from investing is disruption. We are not constantly pioneering our business. Turn on the pump, I know, right? You're seeing on the screen right now BTC and XRP. Oscar is hungry in the closet. Danny. Man, what's up, Jeff from the house? Good to see my entire community here. Drop a like, guys. Consider subscribing to the channel and turn on the notification bells. As always, it's always a great opportunity to say, man, we are so locked in already. If you watch my previous video, the one I just made this morning, I've started, my intro was Jay Clapper. What do you think about Jay Clapper? What are your thoughts about Jay Clapper? I'm gonna let you, give me your opinions right now. Give me all the feedback. Give me all the what. I mean, I'm sure some of you are subscribed to him. I just want to pick up a few opinions and angles on him, and I'll give you mine. Reason is, I mean, I am just over the moon with his predictions. It's like, are we really gonna go that far that fast? I am not saying we cannot go to 3 digits. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I rather than put a timeline on it because, man, how many people are listening to a message that if it doesn't materialize, they're gonna leave? Anyway, that's one way that I see it, right? Okay, so I see the following. What's up, Johnny Cruz in the house? Welcome. Jake is great, well informed. I agree. Jake is a very intelligent individual. Maybe 10K is very difficult reach, but 100 will happen. I agree. Delusional. Most authentic one in the game. Ryan, thank you. He's just a crypto bro trying to pump his bag. So obvious. I like him, but he's too optimistic. Okay. His company holds over 250 million XRP. That's big, right? What are your thoughts on Crow? Reggie, who I've been talking about Crow for so long. I love Crow, bro. My thoughts are it's a great coin and a great company. Jake Even, he bet 40,000 on 750 XRP in October and lost. That's what I'm saying, bro. I mean, don't put a time on crypto. That's something I've learned, and I gotta tell you, I'm not exempt to that. Like, because we get so passionate about our beliefs, but we have to understand that the whales and the suits don't care. They're just gonna go ahead and attack the chart very bad. Jake has an NDA. I watched the video where he says he had an NDA. I know. Something he can tell. I've watched that, yes. He has lofty options, but he's based on research. He always says a lot of catalysts have to occur. Yeah, I watched one of his videos where he says if everything, like if the perfect storm, man, I want that perfect storm to come because look at what's happening in the chart right now. Take a look at the chart right now. How are we seeing those red candles? It's amazing, right? Amazing. Jake knows what he's saying. 750 by the end of the month. I'll be so rich. I know. Since we're speaking about Jake Claver, I will tell you he has spoken to people that know better than anybody putting content online that he really cannot say anything legally. He does know for sure. Johnny. Yeah, I mean, the guy for sure knows a lot of things. And I'm very happy that we are bringing more prepared people to the equation, obviously, because I don't have the privilege, experience, track record. I just don't have that at my age. I just don't have it, right? And the fact that I can get it from someone else, it's really good. Um, because I do believe that cryptocurrency and digital assets are the way to go. And we have I mean, we have XRP that is gonna just be one of the top, right? And it's good when you have plenty of, KOLs or leaders who are voicing their opinions. Don't forget about I'm talking. What's up, Am Night? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate that a lot. Welcome. Yeah, and that's true. It will only happen if certain catalysts happen, but those certain catalysts are already confirmed to happen. Yeah, and people say that it has to be priced in, but in reality, we haven't even. I mean, we don't have clarity yet, bro. We don't have all the 10 plus ETFs already locked in. So we have to give it more time for sure. People take what he says too seriously or direct. He says that it could if we get X, Y, and Z correct. Leo Swipes, Oscar, what is enough? Enough. I hate this market. When it's enough, I get it, bro. Oscar, what do you think that's going to happen tomorrow when the first extra PTF goes live in the NASDAQ? To be completely 100% honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if we go lower. But in the long term, that's when you're going to see haters, fudders cry and us win. Simple. You should be buying whenever everyone is panicking. It's exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, couldn't say it better. The problem is that when you hear all these influencers saying so many bullish things, and the facts are that crypto is not doing it, it's going the opposite way, that's when there's conflict, because then we are the scammers, we are the most hated individuals, when in reality you're only taking a photograph of the bad of today, but you're not taking a video of the long-term journey that we have traveled. They're trying to panic you out of, man, so people here are real, so you know what they're doing. We've been in this game. Yeah, and that's why I take my time. We listen to Caroline, great, but you guys are the real XRP army that I love, that I appreciate. You're real people. You're not AI. You're not bots. Which, by the way, do you see that this Asian woman married an AI? We're not gonna survive. What's going on, man? Isn't that crazy? Yeah, she married her AI companion, something like that. Crazy. Imagine if it goes to 10,000 per coin. I wonder how many of us will be holding a 10,000. Gotta tell you, bro. Don't you not pump it up 100%, bro. Oscar, when we hit $750 per XRP, I'm buying you a box of cookies. Daddy? Ooh. I see that red candle right there. Who sold? Who sold? You tell me right now who sold. AI marriage, the world is cooked. JB, I'm telling you, bro. Come on, teach him your tricks, JB. Come on. So what's going on with Shutdown right now? We're still in a shutdown day 43. In a few more hours, they're going to start voting. They're going to start talking about it. We're going to see 400 plus members in the House, and it's going to be cool. And then at around 7 p.m. East, that's when you're going to see everyone running for the hills voting. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for your thoughts on Jake. Just wanted to ask because, of course, I know a lot of people that have talked about him, and I wish him the best. I have nothing against him, and I want more Jakes. I want more Oscars. I want more whoever. And I know some of you watching, right, have that inclination of maybe becoming content creators. Um, do it. We need more voices. My voice is not the only one. You're the ones who decide who to give your time. And when you come every single day and you're real and you put in the work, this happens. Magic happens. I'm not buying any single like. I'm not buying any single subscriber. I'm not buying any single viewer. Everything is absolutely genuine and real. And you can tell if I will be BSing you immediately, bro. And I'm not. Very good, everybody. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take my lunch break right now. Thank you for your time and for coming in. Please go ahead and drop a like. Leave us a comment once this is over. And as a reminder, in the first link down below, you have BTCC, right? Check us out. The competition giveaway is still going. I think you don't want to miss it for sure. And Daddy. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Cryptograph, planets. Planets, come on. Alrighty. Thank you, Jaden. Appreciate it a lot. Take your lunch so it can go up. I know. As soon as I'm live, it goes down. Once I'm leaving, it's Oscar Kramer. Remember, we're Oscar Kramer in the house. I will be showing you X right now, going through all the posts, but I just told you a minute ago that I gotta go home and get it done. So that's what happens when you're protected. I do recommend you guys, I do recommend you this. Get a wallet, get a cold wallet, but I also get that USB passkey because nowadays there's many exchanges, many websites, and many things related to crypto that give you the option to have a passkey. Many passkeys can be your face ID or a password or a 2FA. But what I like to use is the USB because even if they have your 2FA, even if they change your email password, even if because it happened to me, guys. I'm going to tell you something that happened last year very quickly. I still have over 1,000 people listening. Last year, I got hacked, my channel and my Twitter. Praise God, everything stayed the same. But I had I talked to Google, I got it back, of course. But if I had bought a USB passkey, I would have easily, gotten access to my account. But I didn't. As once you see and once you go through the pain and once you go through the terrible events in life, that's when you learn and you change, right? So when I got hacked, I changed and I protected my accounts much better. And of course, I don't make the same mistakes. And I added a few layers of security. That helped me a lot. So if you're trying to have an X account or a Twitter account, like a Telegram account, a YouTube account, whatever account, make sure that you protect yourself because that's going to help you in the long term. Remember, here in crypto, it's much easier to make money than to keep it because people lose crypto money every single day through scams, impersonation, phishing, and so much more. Let that not be you and be smart. Okay? Be smart. Okay, that's all I got for you guys. May God bless each and every one of you. Thanks so much for coming in. Please be safe. I'll see you later today. And I'm going to go ahead and eat something because I'm starving. Peace. Let's go ahead and put some ads. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Let's go.